All right, man. So, I don't know if this is a fake report, but Woolworth Sports is putting it out there that the Lions, Justin Rogers, the reporter, is saying that the Lions offense is having a difficult time transitioning from Ben Johnson to Johnny Morton's offense, and they're struggling. Now, the players are saying something different. The players are saying, Goff is saying it's pretty good, and J-Mo and St. Brown, they all saying it's good. Sam Laporta, we talked about that either in video format or in short format. So they saying they really have no issue going on with the offense. Now, it could be something else when they trying to put a game plan together, or they scrimmaging against each other, or they trying to move the football, and you expect it to be some type of transition of an issue. You know what I'm saying? This guy is a passing game coordinator. He's been an offensive coordinator for the Jets for a little bit, but for the most part, he got to get a feel for everybody. They're doing some things different, taking more shots down the field and throwing the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. So when you're bringing in a different twist or a different philosophy and you're not going to play preseason, it's like, it's tough. It's tough. So they may get off to a shaky start. Remember last year, that Tampa game, they got off to a little bit of a shaky start last year because they don't play preseason. So you insert a new offense, you insert, new lingo, new plays. Yeah, it's going to be some things, some growing pains. But the transition is being rough. Now, where did he get that from? Did he get it from a player? Did he get it from a coach? And then a lot of people are already jumping and saying, well, they had a lame duck hire, or they had a terrible hire, or we told you Ben Johnson was all. Those come from non-Lion fans. So for the most part, what we do see visually, we do see the Chicago Bears struggling. That's what we do see. And all the people that have been at Allen Park, I don't know if they're going off the preseason, and that's what they're going off of. And for the most part, them are all people that may not make the team. That's the great thing about it. Them are a lot of people that may not make the team. So I don't know if it's in scrimmages, they seeing the transition being tough. Then, for the most part, they got 3 new interior offensive linemen. Tate Rallis, Glasgow moving back to center, but ain't been the center with Jared Goff. I think Mahogany, I think he moving to the left side and Rallis to the right. So I think Mahogany was playing right last year. So in reality, you got 3 guys playing 3 new positions. So there is going to be some growing pains. And we have growing pains like that in the offensive line, especially in the inner offensive line. Best thing to do is you better run the football. And that's my biggest concern about John Morton. Is he going to run the football? Not going to lie, when they said they hired John Morton, I thought it was Johnny Morton that played receiver from the Lions out of USC. But he better run the football. He better run the football. And I find it very interesting that an offensive coordinator come in, known as a passing game coordinator, and one of the first things that we just going to keep the old run game. Like, it's like, boy, you better have some twist to your own run game. You better make some twist to your own run game. They're talking about explosive plays and doing things down the field and getting, mismatches with the backs. And, boy, you better worry about running that fucking football. And that's my biggest concern, is that he going to get too pass happy. He better run that fool's ball. But if the transition is tough, of course, I expect it to be a little bit bumpy. I really do. That's what it's supposed to be. He can't just say we're gonna keep the same offense and woo 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 woo. Like, no, like, you gotta put your twist in there. But my thing about it is he better run that football. That's what I say. He better run that football. Because if he don't, he gonna be in for a rude awakening. A rude awakening. But a lot of the same players, new plays, new lingo. Guess what? He won't be on the sideline either. He gonna be in the box. He gonna be in the box. And also another thing is interesting too, that nobody really talked about this. This is crazy. Tano Ingerstrand. It was a lot of guy that we thought was gonna get the job. He's the offensive coordinator for the Jets now. Justin Fields, had an injury, but it wasn't too serious. So that's another eye to look on. Y'all worried about how Ben Johnson doing in Chicago. What about Tanner Engelstrand? What if he, becomes a rock star out there with the Jets and the Lions could have had him? They did have him. They could have upgraded him, but they chose to upgrade John Morton over Tanner Engelstrand. So that's another thing to look at. Y'all looking at just Ben Johnson and what he did with the offense, but nobody's looking at what Tyler Engelstrand is possibly can do with the New York Jets. Real talk. Nobody's talking about that, but the transition to anything is not going to be always smooth. That's wild. When most kids transition schools, it's not smooth. Some different. So that's the crazy thing about it. Transitions ain't supposed to be smooth. You're supposed to butt some head. You're supposed to see some issues. You're supposed to change some things. So, but that's the first I've heard of something that they having issues with trans. And who knows? But this is the first time they really probably putting the pads on and scrimmaging. They should have some inner scrimmages with some other teams. So, yeah, you'll hear more about that. But for them, a lot of they guys already been together. They got a rapport. The question is going to be the lingo is going to be a little bit different than how John is going to call it. Usually the first 10 to 15, 20 plays are scripted. Then after that, it becomes, situational football. It becomes situational football. So, but yeah, man, that'll be interesting. But if it don't go right and they get off to a slow start or they lose games and stuff, they're going to be pointing the finger at John Morton. No doubt about it. They're going to be pointing the finger right at John Morton. So, we'll see. We'll see how long of a leash or how short of a leash that he truly has. So, but hey, check out Detroit Piston Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance. Get notifications. We go live or drop video. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. I appreciate the love, support. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist for more videos like this. Peace.